Yo, what's up, guys?
How you doing?
Hello.
100K Bitcoin.
Oh yeah,
We're back after yesterday.
lost it for a second, but we're back. How's everybody doing today? Rhodes, thanks. You guys doing well?
Great.
Yeah. Happy
Hell
Friday,
yeah.
guys, as well.
Yes, sir. You
Yes.
too. Yeah. So our boy for Loco should be hopping on in a second. We might get a appearance, but my boy Yoni too. But what's up, everybody? Hope everybody's having an amazing Friday. It's been a crazy week so far. For those of you guys who are new to these calls, welcome. I know a lot of you guys are probably from the Boss Man channel. A lot of might have found us organically on Twitter, but we do these calls twice a week. Today, like 10 a.m. Friday, and then 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesday. Today, we're going to go over everything that's going on with the majors. We're going to get a quick review in a second here from my boy Rhodes. Everything that's gone on. We're going to do the majors. We're going to go over memes, obviously, where a lot of you guys are here for, and then NFTs, which has become a huge part of the show lately. Super stoked to talk about everything that's going on there. What we're really trying to implement here is making these streams more interactive. I think we did a really good job of that last week, where I was checking the chat the entire time. We really want everybody in here to be able to ask questions, chart requests, all that. Obviously, if there's too many charts, we can't look at everything, fit it into the show. We have like an hour and a half here, but please, I'll be checking the chat the whole time. If you have any questions, comments, leave them there and we'll get to them as well. But yeah, Rhodes, you want to go ahead and start with the review, bro?
Yeah. So wild few days in the market here over the last little while. We hit our 100K Bitcoin kind of seemingly out of nowhere on Wednesday. And it was this flash run late in the evening, shot over up to about 104, and we made it. We were going to, it was lift off point, etc. And then we got this massive liquidity flush yesterday. I was actually live looking at the charts and then just watched it just slam down from 97, 98 down to 92,000. And, it seems wild. And I'm digging through X, trying to find some kind of news event or whatever. But this really isn't indifferent than what we experienced when we got to 10K. So what happens is that individuals love to long in preparation and leverage long, and it creates this massive amount of liquidity in the market that is flushed out. There's $1 billion or over $1 billion in liquidations from this kind of violent move. And, you get this V-shaped recovery and away we go, and we're back over 100K. So Bitcoin flash, liquidity flush. And now today, ETH and alts are kind of leading this rally, although everything is very green, certainly over the last few hours here. A really positive day. And I think, really kind of signaling that we're in the go kind of thing. And then so David Sachs has been appointed to the government as crypto and AI lead. It's an interesting one. He certainly knows a lot about many things. Was a key proponent in the election success for Trump. Friends with Elon, all that kind of stuff. We'll see how that is. I mean, he's positive towards crypto, but I don't know if he's necessarily a major crypto bull. But news nonetheless. Ethereum NFTs continue to rally, which is wild considering the pump and the move that we're seeing as well with Ethereum. So just kind of bullish sentiment in tandem here. Excellent to see. Beyond my expectations, to be honest. And then yesterday we had the Pudgy Penguins announce the Pengu token, I think by year end. So it's going to be a crazy few weeks here for Pudgy Penguins. Of course, they rallied pretty substantially. I mean, it fits with the ecosystem. So that's interesting.
Now, do you think really quickly before you move on, do you think we're gonna just start to see like a ton of these old 2021 collections possibly that don't have coins come out start to do it? And do you think do you kind of attribute all of this to like the stuff coming from the legislation and all that stuff, the House of Representatives and the Senate being read? Do you think that that's kind of giving all these old NFT projects the green light to create coins?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the play for old NFT projects.
Like the relevant ones, right? Like Azuki.
Yeah. I mean, what I expect is that the collections that have kind of been long rumored or believed to be getting a token will get it, right? There's more clarity there. Pudgy kind of charges away here. I would expect anime token, obviously meme token from 9gag, etc. But whether or not we see collections down the list do it, probably. I'm probably sure teams will try, but I wouldn't say we expect a Doodles token, for instance.
Like how Zagabond put it, like how we kind of been saying on the show for a while that the old NFT projects are going to create coins, meme coins are going to create NFTs, and it'll just be like this cool symbiotic thing. So it's cool to see like guys like Zagabond say that as well. But yeah, sorry. And by the way, before we keep going, we have our boy For Loco here as well. Nice to see you, brother. How you doing?
What's up, guys? Happy Friday. I'm doing well.
Happy Friday.
I'm doing very well. I just saw the charts and it looks like both Ethereum and Bitcoin just regained 100,000, 101, and Ethereum above 4,000. So it's a good day to be in crypto. Happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
100%.
Yeah, Rhodes. Do you want to finish the NFT part and then?
Sure. So volumes continue to be strong on Ethereum, 16 million, even higher here today with some of the Pudgy Penguin activity that's going on. Ordinals 3.7, Solana 2 million. So again, good strong volumes. Shows the energy and activity in the NFT space. Daily risers, like I said, Pudgy Penguins leading the way, 17.8 ETH, up 12%. That's getting close to their all-time high. It's getting close to their all-time high and much higher Ethereum. So, Pudgy Penguins are actually at all-time high. So, NFTs are not dead in that respect, and we're seeing collections hit all-time highs. So that's very positive to see. Little Pudgy's at 1.9, up 12.5%. Tensorians up 10.2, Sol 24%. Tensor Swap, Tensor Drop. And then a bit of FUD around the Magic Eden claim, etc. I think all kind of leads in there for Tensorians. And then Sappy Seals, half ETH, up 37%. They follow and always traded well alongside Pudgy Penguins, and so expect them to probably continue a bit of a rally here. As kind of this like tandem type cute collection idea. And then on the meme coins, MOG is leading the way over the last 24 hours, up 38% to 1.3 billion. AI16Z up 27% to 605 million. And then more AI coins, NPC and Farcoin also up at the time I've checked. I'm sure more activity's gone on because it's just started really rallying here the last hour or so. And in prediction markets, I tagged this in not too long ago. We did have the 100K, and that was sitting at, I think, 66% when we did our session on Tuesday. Of course, we hit 100K just a couple days later, which is crazy. And now prediction markets have it at 59% to hit 110K by year end. So we'll watch
Wow.
that. It's got even, I think, 120 on there as well, with a reasonable percentage. So bullish sentiment on the prediction markets overall, and it makes sense. I think, Bitcoin reclaiming 100K here, maybe one further test, and then a real good roar beyond that. So overall, looking really strong.
Love that. I love the review, Rotes. It's a great way to start the show. I appreciate you. So I will say one thing I think maybe that we could add is Giga and Mog. I think you mentioned it with Mog for a second, maybe, but Mog and Giga both got Coinbase listings, which is absolutely massive. I mean, there's like 5 or 6 meme coins in general on Coinbase. And obviously Coinbase overall might not be as big as Binance in total, but it's about the American public, where I think a lot of the expendable income for meme coins is going to come from. Those people have access to Giga and Mog, and they're likely going to be there forever. It is just huge. We'll talk about it again in a second in the meme coin section. But thank you so much for that, Rotes. Let's go ahead and move on to the majors really quick, as long as for Loco, Danksy, anybody, you guys don't have anything to add right here?
No, go ahead, man. I want to hear your thoughts, and then I'll give you some thoughts. I was watching a video today on Michael Saylor and all his whole strategy on MicroStrategy, and which no pun intended. But I want to hear your thoughts, and I'll kind of like provide some comments afterwards.
Awesome. So yeah, we got our boy Yoni here as well, or Yon Wick. Yoni, he's just popped in as well. What's up, Yoni?
How are we?
Good. I'll do a quick reset if you guys are coming in. It's pretty early on. By the way, if you guys do have any comments, questions, anything, we're trying to make the stream more interactive. I am checking and looking at the chat the whole time. So so far we have somebody asking about ALK. We'll check that out. Soulmania. C-Pooled, I'll check that out real quickly. Alfro, we'll check out Anime. But yeah, real quick reset. You guys know my name is Bren. Been in crypto for a minute here, but spent a lot of my time in the Boss Man Calls channel with my partner Boss Man. I post all my analysis and stuff in there. Been off Twitter for a little bit, locked out of my account. I should be back on there soon. But and then we got my Boys for Loco, Danksy, Rotes. They run their group Bridge 3 Labs, which is a alpha group kind of thing / NFT project, where they have people from all different kind of expertise in there, majors, crypto, traditional markets, mining, all these different things. Definitely go check out what they're doing. As of right now, we're doing the stream through their channel. So Bridge 3 Labs there. And then my boy Yoni, he's an investor and an artist in the music industry, provides a ton of insight from what he's doing, like the trenches and a lot of stuff that he's doing. So we always appreciate him on here. So yeah, follow everybody on the panel. And Yoni, what are you up to today, brother? How you doing?
What's good, boys? No, it's a good day. Coins getting listed on Coinbase, things getting bounced, people announcing stuff. I don't know. It's exciting again.
Good vibes, huh?
Yeah, I just sit on my hands for a little bit. Honestly, it was getting emotional.
Oh yeah, brother. Well, we're back. So let's go and move on to the majors really quick. Let me make sure I don't have anything too crazy on my screen here before I share it. Let's see. Present. Share screen. Alrighty, we're good to go. Let's do Windows, StreamYard. Okay, perfect. All right, guys. So crazy week for the majors. Let's go to Bitcoin because that's where the craziness was yesterday. Let's see. We were on the stream on Tuesday. So we did go up, make a new all-time high on Bitcoin at 100,000, which is super exciting. And then, like oftentimes, when you hit these big psychological numbers, you'll often get big pullbacks. A lot of this is due to people for a few things. People going, super long after we hit 100,000 with like irresponsible leverage. People taking profits at the big 100,000 level. Either way, started pulling back, and then yesterday we got a big flush out. What this is due to is mostly what I was saying a second ago. People get super long after big moves up. They chase big moves with leverage. So when price moves a little bit against them, a bunch of people get liquidated, which pushes price down very hard. It's called a liquidation cascade. You'll see these happen oftentimes, like every few weeks to every few months during these bull markets. And it's actually pretty surprising that since the bottom here in September, we haven't had really any yet. It's been clean corrections up until this point. what that tells me is that this move up has mostly been spot driven. It's not been because of people in leverage. It's been mostly because people actually buying the physical Bitcoin, probably mostly due to Michael Saylor and other institutions. So yeah, this is something to take note of that you should see very often. What we can kind of learn from this is don't chase big moves up with leverage. Again, if you would have gone long here with like 10x leverage, you most likely just got wrecked. You want to get into good setups, have stop losses, etc., and then also have dry powder so you can take advantage of situations like this. So either way, I think this is going to continue to move higher. I mean, this is extremely impulsive. How high does Bitcoin go to end the year? Who knows? There's always Christmas, which a lot of times, at least slows down markets for a few weeks. Will we see that this year? Who knows? Obviously, Bitcoin is not a traditional market, so even if it's different. There's not hedge funds and stuff that necessarily drive it that need to be like in the office and all that. So I do think, I do think Bitcoin looks very good. ETH.
Before you move on, Bren, I wanted to kind of like give some comments on Bitcoin because I was looking at your chart and I love the way you kind of like put the range in and if you can look at like kind of like the wick yesterday that we had, it almost like completely resets to the bottom of where we were like a few days ago, and then as you mentioned, centralized sexes, right? Centralized exchanges are very smart and they know when there's a ton of open interest, they liquidate longs and shorts at the same time and they get free money, right? Because for them, when they see that open interest, they're able to, with their balance and everything, they're able to manipulate, and kind of like go up and down the range. And so you can see the wick perfectly retest to that low that you had on, what was it, the 26th of November, 25th of November, right? And then it completely rebounded up almost to the top of the range. Whereas you mentioned most of the action was spot until a few days ago when we regained, when we actually went all-time highs. And so so crazy to see, but I think we're gonna see more of this as 2025 comes in with the mania. You're gonna see a lot of newbies and people make irresponsible decisions with leverage, and super smart and kind of like more of a better on traders and investors are gonna take advantage of those that make those irresponsible decisions and kind of like get really very good entries, right? Because
that's a
you
great
see
point.
that,
I don't know if you guys have noticed, there's a lot more people trading leverage, especially since the memes have slowed down lately. And a lot of my chats, a lot of people kind of the thing to do right now is to, we're in alt season or whatever, so people are like longing these old alts and stuff, which I do think there's opportunity in there. We can go over in a second, but a lot more leverage is being added to the market right now. That's what you start to see as price goes up. More people start piling into leverage. When in reality, if you are a leverage trader, that's kind of the opposite of what you want to be doing. You want to be, more aggressive with the longing towards the bottom of a correction, like we had in September, and be less aggressive as we move up here. So that's what I would be careful
picky with the entries, right? Because if you're a leverage trader, you can get whacked. If you're in the middle to the upper range, you can get literally whacked up and down. So super interesting to see. And I think most of us that are here know that this is gonna keep happening. For those that recently joined and are trading with leverage, I would just be careful because as much as we believe that Bitcoin is gonna keep going higher this cycle, there's going to be a lot of volatility. And so unless you are, very well protected on the both upside and downside, I wouldn't play, especially with Bitcoin, with institutional capital being involved, getting anything above 2 or 3x leverage.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Of course,
Leverage in
protect
general
your,
is just, it's not necessary to make money. There's plenty of people who don't even look at charts to make money. Now, I mean, if you're more intricate with like your edge is kind of the short-term price prediction stuff, something I've been doing for like a while. That's kind of where I started with Forex with the chart stuff. So that's kind of what I do. But again, leverage, when we talk about on here, completely unnecessary. Definitely something you want to be, especially at first, with very like Furloco said, made a great point. Very picky with in general, and then very safe. I would definitely not use anything over 10x. And I advise it on Bitcoin and ETH. You can kind of use a little bit more. But if you're trading meme coin leverage, which I still wouldn't necessarily recommend, I wouldn't be using anything more than like 2 to 3 to 5x. But great point. Let's go ahead and move on to ETH.
ETH at 4K, baby.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
So yeah, it's exciting for sure. I think I don't know if I said it on the stream, but definitely in the Boss Man Calls channel on November 15th, saying that I do think ETH is going to outperform Sol in the short term due to where were we here? down here, during this correction. Again, due to various reasons, the ETH ETF likely heating up, which we didn't go over. Actually, got 200 million, or is it billion? 200 million for sure. What am I saying? In inflows today, I think, which is crazy because it's been mostly flat up until this point. I do think a lot of people who won on this Bitcoin ETF trade that they made a few months ago are probably like, wow, well, how do I make, where do I go to next? As well as new people inflowing. So ETFs, heating up here. Anyway, since I said that in November 15th, I do think ETH, let's go to the Sol ETH chart. Sol is down, I think about 20% against ETH. So far, that's been a good trade so far. I've obviously been holding both. But yeah, ETH's been absolutely exploding against both of the majors. Again, due to the ETH ETF, a lot of this it was being suppressed for a few months against the other two. And then obviously BlackRock, the institutions, all that building on ETH. So I do think ETH's going to make new all-time highs. Will it make all-time highs by the end of the year? We'll see if Christmas slows this down. But over the next few months, I do think ETH is going to move on to all-time highs and beyond. And let's go to ETH Bitcoin really quick. The kind of nice little segue. Unpopular take still. I'm still stand by it for the last few years due to this corrective channel and just my thesis that I do think ETH, the platform, with everything that's going to be built on top of it. I'm talking about RWAs, NFTs, or tickets. Everything's going to be an NFT. Obviously meme coin trading in general, all these different things. A block space demand for crypto and block space in general is going to be so high with all this stuff being built on it that Ethereum, which I do think is going to be the one that gets the most block space and continues to, will eventually be worth more in market cap than Bitcoin, the digital gold or digital money. I know that sounds crazy right now to some people because of how dominant Bitcoin has been. But again, if you just try to think about everything that's going to be on chain, I do think, again, the platform itself will be worth more in market cap than digital money. And with that, I do think ETH Bitcoin is going to see new all-time highs. Very, very likely has bottomed out here. Kind of the bottom we've all been waiting for. We still need to confirm a break above this corrective channel at about 5 cents. And then if it breaks above about, let's just call it 7, the chances at that point that it goes to at least to new highs and then back to all-time highs are very, very high. So something to keep an eye on, but I think there's a good chance unless like countries come out of nowhere or we get Apple buying Bitcoin or something like that in the next few months, I do think ETH Bitcoin is likely bottomed out here and ETH is going to keep outperforming all the other two majors.
Yeah,
Somebody
I agree.
else.
And by the way, Bren, I just wanted to congratulate you for your, of course, you were believing in Ethereum when no one was many months ago, including myself. So I wanted to give you your flowers for that. But what is interesting to know, because you're seeing the dominance here, but if you go to blockchaincenter.net, I wanted to show something that I think people will be interested in seeing. If you can pull it up quickly. Blockchaincenter.net. Blockchaincenter.net. And then you click on, there's an index there that says tools and charts, altcoin season index, the second one. So normally I used to track this in the previous cycle, right? Where,
Wow.
when the kind of like the trend goes above 75 means we're in altcoin season. And normally that was easy to, if you go back to the previous cycles, you can go all the way back. But it was when Ethereum was kind of like picking up, then everything else was kind of like be a storm of like activity and volume. But I think this altcoin season is a little bit different because we've been having almost like Dino Coins activity before Ethereum was moving, right? So almost feels like it was not a forced trigger altcoin season, but it almost feels like these alts have moved way before Ethereum. So it's kind of like a different way to see it. But anyways, I guess my question was, do you guys think we're in altcoin season yet or still in Bitcoin season from your perspective?
So, I mean, obviously we're seeing a lot of these kind of alts pick up here. I think what we're kind of entering here, and something that I've been talking about for a little bit here, is that I think we're entering like an everything season, right? Where there's so much capital entering crypto in general due to normies and just people coming back, and maybe people who have kind of been whales who've kind of been like gun shy, maybe to like get back in, or money's piling in, and there's going to be enough capital flowing. And we've seen this in past cycles, 2021, that there's going to be enough capital and money to sustain a few narratives. We're going to see the cult memes run. We're going to see some of the alts run, which we'll go over here in a second. Which alt runs I think are going to be sustainable, and kind of what to look for in that. But I think we're going to see a lot of the good alts, a lot of good L1s, cult memes, cute memes, AI. AI agent memes kind of running at the same time, again, because of all the capital that's flowing in. But with that, I think we said this on the last stream, you have to be careful because a lot of these coins will be around 5 years from now, but this whole, everything season can't last forever, right? There's going to be something that ends the party. So, yes, to answer your question for Loco, I do think we're entering kind of an alt season.
Wait, I have a question on that after.
Kind of an everything season too. Yeah, what's up?
So, kind of just continuing on that, I guess. Where you're saying, like, obviously something is going to make it come to an end. So obviously that's been the trend, and obviously there's going to be some kind of like drawback eventually. But do you think potentially, because everything is so different with who's in office, what the climate is, how accepted crypto is, the price of Bitcoin, like those drawbacks, do you think that the bear market will probably still look similarly to how it has in the past, even given kind of the climate and what's going on now? Or is it possible that like this is a new cycle, and yes, there will be a top and there will be a version of a bear market, but is it possible that it's not the same type of thing, or that prices kind of continue to drive up in a different way than we've seen?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question, dude. So, yeah, that's something we've been touching on for a bit here. I do think you got to kind of differentiate like memes and the alts from like Bitcoin Eats Soul, right? I do think Bitcoin Eats Soul, great point you just made with the ETFs and the institutions, the people buying
also
now.
Like even at AVAX, right? Like if I don't mean to interrupt, but like even at AVAX, where before it was just like an alt that many people didn't know, like if they actually make a swing at gaming and start doing, wouldn't that continue like in the real world? It wouldn't just be like a crypto.
Yeah, no, that's a great point too. You just got to differentiate like a lot of the newer like meme speculative stuff and like some of the stuff that's been around for 3 or 4 years. So yeah, definitely could include AVAX and the other, what I was saying with ETH and Bitcoin. But yeah, you got to kind of differentiate. I do think, great point. I do think a lot of the Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, unless we get some crazy black swan or some nasty like recession or depression or something, I think there is a good chance that we have entered a new era where we don't get an 80-90% bull market or bear market anymore in the bigger coins. And maybe we just get these kind of 6-month corrections that we got the last few years where we get a 30% correction. With the memes and stuff, though, even Murad and other people have said that eventually we're going to get a top. These manias, it's not even just in crypto, and the .com bubble, all these different things. When there's not ETFs backing it and not like these huge things, these manias eventually do come to an end. Whether it be whatever it is, they always do. So my whole point is, I do think Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, there's a good chance that those are kind of in a new era. But the newer speculative stuff, kind of where everything's moving together, that just can't last forever. Maybe it lasts a lot longer. I think that's a good chance. Like maybe we get like until the end of 2026 and just kind of outdoes everybody's expectations. But I do think there will come a time where whatever it may be, the bubble will pop in the sense that not everything's going to be moving up together, and it won't be as crazy, right? So I think eventually, a lot of these memes that we're talking about are going to go up 10, 20, 50x from here, but eventually we'll probably crash 80, 90%. It's just the way of these hype manias. It's just the way they work. Eventually the bubble pops, at least temporarily.
Hey, Bren, that's a good point. I also posted another link on Telegram whenever you guys have a chance to pull it up, because I think for everyone that are looking to, I don't know if you can pull it up, but everyone that is looking to enter the market at this point, they're probably wondering if it is a good time right now, or they should wait until Bitcoin cools up a little bit. So I don't know if thanks here you can pull it up so we can show to our audience here. I think it's a good metric to track. I've been tracking it for a while, and I think it's fairly accurate. Yeah, so that one, perfect. We just quickly with this one. If you go down, I'll explain what the chart means. Yeah, so what it means is, the gray line is Bitcoin price, right? And then the yellow, I guess, greenish line is the alts, right? The signal. So when the alt signal crosses the green line up below, it says time to sell your house and buy altcoins, right? And then when it crosses the red one, it's time to sell, right? And so if you look at previous cycles, it's pretty accurate. When Bitcoin was appreciating in price, altcoins at some point they had a bottom. I think it was January 2021, and then it went all the way up like crazy to, I believe it was like kind of like mid 2021. time to sell. And so I tracked to this metric, not saying it's 100% accurate, but it looks like we are close to the time where people should be or should be buying altcoins here, and perhaps Bitcoin starts to cool down for a bit. No. You guys think it's going to be similar or completely different cycle this time around?
I think it's always going to be different. I like to hear everybody else's thoughts on this too, but I think this time is different again because of the ETF. I just think there's so many dynamics, like positive dynamics coming from all angles, with just so much capital entering, with memes being so relevant, as well as like all this capital entering the Bitcoin, where it's like it's really tough. I think eventually there's going to come a time, because there always is, where Bitcoin kind of cools off and goes sideways and whatever for a little bit. But it's tough to say if that's going to be now, because again, Apple could announce, or like some crazy notable high net worth individual or some country or something can announce whatever, and Bitcoin keeps going up. But kind of my view is I do think, because of the setups on these memes and ETH and Sol, that they're going to go up over the next few months. Is Bitcoin going to dominate for a little bit more? Who knows? We can go over Bitcoin dominance, but I do think kind of Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, everything that's quality stuff is, the charts and everything are showing that they're going to go up. So at which rate does that happen? We'll kind of have to see, right?
Yeah, agreed. Anyone else has any thoughts on this? Rhodes, Tanksy?
I agree. If you pull up the chart again, I agree. I don't know about selling your house, but sometimes
well, that's the opposite. That's when altcoins are heated, right? Right now we are at the moment. Well, sell your house, meaning correct. Yeah, it means that you
buy
put
a house
money
is
into
when
the
you want to
market. That's right. So
I
mean, sell the house is just a metric. Please, anyone listening, don't sell your house to buy crypto. Okay.
Too late.
Yeah, Yoni actually free financed his house this week.
Yeah, I sold it for Retardio, so too late.
Okay, nice.
That's the classic
good trade.
move.
Yeah, good trade.
That's a solid trade. Good job on that
I would
one.
say like Bren said, which altcoin are you investing in? Because
so let's just go over that real quick. We're kind of 30 minutes through. I definitely want to get to the memes. Like last time we didn't do that, so let's go over like 10 minutes more of the stuff. Any closing thoughts on this?
Yeah, I quickly want to answer on that. I mean, I think there's still a good potential for a Bitcoin impulsive move here over the next little shorter range, right? I mean, we just broke 100K. It's going to create a lot of headlines, and I would still be in the camp of Bitcoin. Could alts out trade Bitcoin in the short term? Still, I could see it. But I'm still on the Bitcoin camp, and waiting for further movement before it's full on into alt season. So that's just kind of my counter narrative there.
Right on. Let's go ahead and real quickly hit some of these trading view alts. So kind of my view on, it is kind of alt season as in the last few weeks, as ETH, Bitcoin, and Sol have kind of been cooling off. And as we started moving up, you start seeing some of these alts kind of take a hit, because I think there is an alt season coming. There is a few sections of like alts that I think are going to have a sustainable run, which we'll go over here in a second. And some of these alts, kind of older ones that are people kind of are just treating as rotation trades. And I do think something like Arbitrum, just since it's right here, the ETH L2s, it's up like 3x off the low, but I think ETH L2s, ARB, ZK Sync, OP have the chance to actually be sustainable. Not just the chance, but very, very good shot at continuing up. This entire rest of this, next 3-6 months. I do think they make new all-time highs. And again, just a key piece of Ethereum infrastructure. I do think more stuff's going to start to go on these L2s here pretty soon. So OP, Arbitrum, ZK Sync, a few of them that I think you can buy right now and not have to worry about getting cheated on, like a lot of these other alts. AVAX, another one Yoni brought up. A lot of these high crypto gaming's bubbling up like crazy right now. A lot of these big games are built on Avalanche. Off the Grid was. I do think, easily going to go back to all-time highs. Very likely does X's above the previous all-time high. This is one where you can kind of, even though it's really only up barely 2x right now off the lows, one you can buy right now. Yeah, maybe obviously pulls back a little bit. I wouldn't count on it. Either way, this is one you can buy and hold, for the rest of the several months. Ape, which I'm sure we'll talk again with NFTs, absolutely exploding. This is very, very good sign. If we do close above this bounce high here at like 2.5, very good sign. And I do think, goes back to all-time highs. Very good chance that it does, even though it's still down about, 90%. We kind of have to see, keep an eye on what Yuga's doing and everything. And then a lot of these alts like XMR, stuff like that, I think potentially could just be, shorter term rotations that are not as safe. There's a narrative that maybe because of Tornado Cash was kind of like, left alone by the feds now, that maybe they are okay with private transactions. Maybe Binance and a lot of these other exchanges start listing it again. In that case, I could see a push up, but I would just be careful in these older alts where there's not much going on, not much of a community or, development, built on it. I know, XMR with this, they're just really big on the private transactions, their community and stuff. They don't really care too much about the price type of thing versus other projects. But, I'm just using this as an example. Could go up, but be careful and stuff like that. And then just real quickly, Polkadot, another one, just like AVAX, still 80% off the all-time high, or 5x from the all-time high. I think very good chance it goes back. And then, anything else?
RWAs, I like Ondo. I like HBAR. HBAR fucking did like 700% the past 30 days or so.
Yeah, HBAR's going crazy.
HBAR and Ondo just have big partnerships. So if you're one of those guys that just like needs an excuse to invest your money because of whatever, even though to me it's kind of all the same, HBAR and Ondo kind of gives you that excuse.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have a Ondo, but I know that Mantra OM did pretty well also as well, and it's also RWA. So I think those are the three. Also Clearpool, it's a bit smaller, but those are very
there's
good.
Another one that's great. I just don't think they traded on Coinbase, but I think Pendle is like one of the true kings of RWA too. I used to trade it a minute ago, but I don't think it's on Coinbase.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if are we gonna go to the next.
Pudgy Penguins got the streets going crazy, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think it's gonna start a huge thing with a lot of some of them at least, starting tokens.
You're seeing all the rumors. You're seeing all the rumors online already of like who bought what. They're like saying like this celebrity tracked this guy's wallet and it's this person buying. And what's the deal?
What's the deal around what
the Pudgy Penguin? So they're launching a token outside of this NFT. How big is their reach? How big is their current?
Pudgies? Well, I mean, so as few as these IP projects that have stuck around, Pudgies have done like so far have done like the most in real life with the plushies. They actually got into Walmart, and I don't know if you've seen on Instagram and stuff, like people using the Pudgy Penguin stickers and stuff. Like I've seen
some function.
People don't even know that this NFT project, like the Pudgies themselves, a bunch of celebrities like have posted pictures with them, like without even knowing it's an NFT project. So to answer your question, yeah, they have right now like IRL reach. They kind of like they're on top, right? And that's why they're like been number 2 to Apes. And actually, did they flip Apes for a second? I don't remember. But now they're right up there. So yeah, they've been talking about doing a chain for a little bit, but yeah, the token. I think maybe it doesn't make sense for everything, but Penguins, they have enough reach, like you were saying, to probably make something of it. So
yeah.
Anything as far as trading view charts go, I do want to move on to memes here in a second.
There's one more chart I wanted to pull up, Bren. I sent it on Telegram. I think it's interesting to see as well, to see kind of like the current state of funding for leverage, but also for like the top 20, 30 coins. I don't know if anyone can pull it up, but okay, so perfect. So if you see that color slider bar, blue, on the top, can you move that to the top to the left? So it's in the top right where the options are for filtering. Yeah, so move that to the left. And then go to the 30-day and stay 1 year. I like to look at that. So if you compare what happened last year to this year, it looks like we're starting to heat up. Obviously, Bitcoin moves this way, crypto moves this way, where kind of like Q4 tends to be a better, kind of like a better time to trade or get into crypto. Looks like we're kind of like repeating the patterns, but if you look at the colors, the darker in terms of like orange and red is when funding rates are higher, which means there's more demand and people are opening, leverage positions in a bunch of different tokens. It looks like we're hitting up here. perhaps we have a little reset before we continue. Obviously, yesterday reason on Bitcoin was mostly a Bitcoin move, to be honest. Across several odds and memes, the action was not really as bad, as volatile, but it looks like we're starting to heat up. And so I track these, I look at these metrics because it's important to see, what we're gonna be seeing probably in the next, 2 to 3 weeks before the end of the year, and perhaps we have a reset before our next leg up. I don't know.
That's
Do
a
you
great
guys
point.
track much this funding rates as well? Or
Honestly,
not?
I check in on Binance sometimes, and I don't really check these heat maps, but I think this is super interesting, and I think you made a great point. Kind of touch on what I said earlier. I think a lot of the XMR, a lot of these moves, and some of these alts are being driven by your leverage because people are like, trying to do these rotation trades, and then there's coins like DOT, AVAX, the ETH L2s that are tokens that are getting like real spot buys. And I don't know if this reflects on here, but I think those are the reason why those are going to be more sustainable because it's people buying because they're, in anticipation of next year, kind of more of a buy and hold. Whereas a lot of these older alts that don't really have too much going on tech wise or anything right now are kind of being driven by leverage, people kind of trying to chase these alt rotations. So great point here. I do want to move on to memes. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. I think last week, I do have somebody making a clip. I wish I would have had it ready today, but very strong, very adamant that the cult memes again aren't the only things that are going to do well next year, right? There's going to be a bunch of stuff that does well. But again, I think these coins, a lot of these, the ones we talked about last week, SPX, Giga, Bitcoin, MOG, Harambe, a little bit less, lock-in, stuff like that, has the best shot at getting to these 10, 20, 50 billion market cap ranges because of the higher missions where people are diamond-handed communities kind of chasing a bigger thing. They're not chasing a 5-10x move. They have these strong communities, supply distribution, all these different things. These aspects are going to lead to, again, these big 10, 20, 50 billion market caps, if anything is going to do it, which from here, for example, if SPX went to go to 20 billion, that's like a 40x move from here. So I've just been very adamant that these are the coins that not only have the best shot at getting those high market caps, but are in very, very good corrections right now. And kind of just touch, as somebody said earlier for Loco, about how everybody was getting super bearish on ETH right at the bottom. Everybody was calling for, dancing on its grave, literally within days. Like it bottoms out and goes up. This is a phenomenon that happens a lot. It's just human behavior. These corrections just like get people so, riled up or like just panicking, as they should. They're 40, 50% corrections if you don't really put it into perspective. But again, right as people are saying that, we bottom out here. You really got to put current price aside and ask yourself, why are you buying these things? What's your thesis on, them going higher? For me, SPX, Giga, all these, nothing changed from them back when they were going up. They're just as strong, if not stronger, better supply distribution. It's, again, most people just base their bias on the most recent euphoric move. You got to ask yourself, you have to have a bigger thesis. So for me, I do think SPX, Giga especially, is just going to rip higher from here. My thesis stays the same. I don't think these are going to go right to 1 billion. I think they're going to rip to 2 to 3, 5 billion very quickly because they have those dynamics to get them there. And then, obviously since last week, we've got MOG getting the listing first, and then Giga, getting it right after. And again, I think this is a reflection. The Coinbase, they're the king of the shit. Like they realize they see these good supply dynamics. They want to give their people the best opportunity to not get into some super ruggy stuff, the stuff that actually has an opportunity to go to these high market caps, because that's what Coinbase wants. They want the high volume ones, all that. So if anything, Coinbase is just, just saying a lot of the stuff that we're saying. So again, Giga, same kind of thing. I think these are just going to continue to rip from here, make new all-time highs, and probably just not stop until they get to the multiple billions. So congrats to anybody who's been adding during these corrections. I think, you're going to outperform most people in crypto who are trying to chase the newest thing. And if you're in any of these right now, definitely take partials on the way up. But I think we're just getting started on these. And we're going to start to see these rip to the multiple billions here soon. Stuff like Popcat, I love Popcat. I love everything about it. Right. But I do think a lot of these movement coins that are not just, they're all static memes, but they're more of like a movement type thing where they have a bigger goal rather than just like a cute picture. Again, I love Popcat, love everything about it. I think it's going to rip to probably 5-10 billion next year. But I do think there's a mispricing between a lot of these movement coins and a lot of these kind of cute memes that are in the 1.5 billion mark. I think they're going to get passed up pretty quickly, and we're going to see a lot of these movement coins, Giga, SPX, MOG, again, rip to 2 to 5 billion very quickly. And another one, real quickly, I know some other you guys probably want to chime in, but Lock-in is probably the most undervalued one. Beautiful corrective channel. Lock-in is something everybody says, right? Everybody of all ages says lock-in. Super relevant. I think something that could catch on TikTok as well.
Damn, you don't think Harambe is the most undervalued meme coin right now?
I think both. I meant in that list I just gave right there, right? MOG, SPX, all that. Harambe is right up there with lock-in, obviously, too. Harambe I don't necessarily consider a cult coin, right? It's right up there with these, but it's a little bit different category. But definitely bullish on Harambe. Lock-in I think is going to rip to the hundreds of millions. No brainer here. I think it's going to go to 1 billion. Murad has it going to 3, but even at 1, you're looking at a 15-20x here. So lock-in, great. Harambe, obviously, as Yoni just said, obviously got cheated.
Never seen anyone go harder for a meme in my entire life, which is why I brought it up.
I mean, fuck, dude, it's Harambe. Shit. No, so got absolutely wrecked at the high here. But again, it's not even that bad, but it's came back down here again. I do think, Harambe, was this farmers? Was it, who knows? All I know is the supply distribution on the big metrics that Murad always posts. Harambe is all the way up there. So I don't know why it's getting hit so hard. But either way, like we were talking about earlier, there's going to be so much capital flowing into crypto that I refuse to believe that Harambe, which is a top 10 meme of all time, is not going to be in the hundreds of millions, if not probably 1 billion market cap next year. I don't know the reason why it gets cheated so hard, but these normie characters, everybody loves Harambe. So, I think once it finally breaks above 8 cents here, which is 80 million, I think it's going to finally just go to hundreds of millions, probably not look back from there. So definitely would not be selling Harambe here.
But good point. I noticed, and I know you guys noticed, because I know some of you guys have some AI coins. Some of them rebounded pretty heavily in the last few days after a massive dump. One of the ones I was tracking was a Farcoin, and I know you guys have Cerebro as well. So those actually have done fairly well on this rebound. Johnny, any thoughts on AI tokens?
Yeah, I think the AI. I want to hear Yoni's thoughts on it real quick. I'm going to give a 2-second thing, but Yoni's been really in the AI trenches, so I think the AI stuff's here to stay for sure. My bet's kind of on Zero Bro, heavily concentrated because Jeffy, the dev, has just been shipping like nobody else. It's moving really hard right now. I do think it might just flip GOAT here. Either way, I'm heavily concentrated in GOAT and Zero Bro. But I do think the overall space is just here to stay, and it is here to stay, and it's just growing. Yoni, what are your thoughts on the current AI stuff, brother?
I think kind of what you. Well, I think a couple of things. First of all, I think it's here to stay. I'm kind of I've been learning from a lot of people, and now having to develop my own thesis is I kind of have to take stuff and just kind of continue learning. And I think what you said before, Bren, what you perfectly said about having to do your research and actually having conviction in the meme coin that you're buying to be able to take that drawback. I think that applies even more so with this AI stuff. And there's so many coins now that are doing similar things, doing different things. I think you always have to kind of look at the dev. You always have to see what the team is doing. There are all these secret, it's almost like a treasure hunt, it seems, always in the beginning where they're not telling you what the connections are. They don't want you to know. It's almost like now what it feels like to me is some of these really cool companies and ill developers are now coming into the space, looking at the meme space just as fair launch tokens. And some of them are actually doing some incredible stuff and could last a lot longer than we think, and kind of would be more equivalent to investing in a startup rather than a meme token. And I think it's super important when we're investing in AI, you really might not know what you have until later. I sniped Project 89, remember, Bren, in the trenches at sub a couple 100K market cap. I sold it all. Now I'm finding myself trying to DCA back into Project 89, not knowing what I had. And so I think it's super important to do your research. And on that note, I think it's fucking difficult because so many of these AIs are going crazy and there's so many new launches with ill developers. So Zero Bro is at the top of my list. I think Farcoin, Zero Bro, and Bully.
Yes.
Farcoin and Zero Bro are at the top of my list. even more so than GOAT, primarily because of the risk reward, but also just because of what they do and the narrative. Even though GOAT, like first mover narrative is massive, but then the risk reward for me, the best thing might have been Bully, especially last night.
Do you buy
at
the dip?
So I honestly, to be honest, I was going to swap my ticker Bitcoin for Bully at 100 million. And I reached out to Bren and we both decided not to, but I really wanted to buy Bully. If I wasn't like kind of set on my bags, if I had extra capital, I would have gone in 100% at 99 or 100 million.
It hit 85 million. I literally was looking at the screen and it was at 85 million. And I was like, so let's swap my Parkcoin for Bully. But I think, I mean, personally, I didn't want to do that. But I know that, there was a great opportunity. It looks like it's rebounding a little bit here. So
yeah, it was like such an obvious move, so undervalued for the reach that it has. Project 89 is another one that I've been looking at. Some of the other ones that are more utility or Launchpad, Vifu, and ALK. I heard people mentioning ALK too. I've been like in ALK since like 30 million, watching the chart, checking the Twitter like every 10 minutes. Something about this coin feels a little bit different. Something about the team feels a little bit different. The chart has been an entirely different thing that I'm getting to learn. Like, I can't tell the difference between market makers, snipers, team, what causes the sell pressure to kind of keep getting stunted down, whether it's people trying to accumulate. I'm kind of still learning a lot of that too. But both those charts I'm in right now, both Vifu and ALK. ALK, pretty heavy I'm in, to be honest.
Yeah, ALK's great. I bought some down here with people talking about in the chat. Jesse, the chat. Yeah, no, they're building a lot of cool shit that, they're building a lot of cool shit. You can like create about like games and a bunch of different shit with their tools.
So this is the one I was talking about where like they were hinting at like potentially mobile. I'm not sure what the team is. No one really knows, but they're shipping like fast and hard, and they're hinting at like different things, and they seem to be unbothered by like all the FUD, and they address it. And this
who's FUDing? What's the FUD around?
So there isn't now. There's so much more like love and pro stuff on Twitter, but this is why what you were saying before rings so true. Like, there will be people trying to FUD different things, and that will force you to do your research. Like, you will have to do your research and say, like, when, like, for example, Port was a good example of like what fucked me. I went into Port just kind of thinking I knew what it was. I wasn't getting what I needed from the developer when the price was going down. We weren't getting any kind of things being addressed from any of the team. When things were kind of going sideways. And this ALK is a perfect example of like, the team will address any real FUD while still constantly shipping updates. And it'll allow you to help make a decision like, okay, this isn't just some shitty meme. Like, what is this? Like, what's the team? Is it giving me the check across the board? If it does, then I'll take it. And I'm not even entirely sure where this can go, but I'm super bullish on this.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is they're actually shipping a lot of like stuff, like you were saying, over and over again, which is, again, that's where Zero Bros is where it's at. I think one thing, again, it had no consolidation before coming down after December 1st. You see a nice corrective chart pattern while the team's still building. For me, that's a good place to enter. So that's why
holders going up, even when the chart comes down.
Yeah, definitely in a legit coin like this. A legit coin like this, definitely. I know holders can be faked, but I do believe Alchemist, like, so far, like they it looks like they have some integrity. So I doubt they're like, faking the holder count. But definitely, as price going up, holder count going up as well. Usually means decentralization of supply. So I do think this probably continues to rip higher. And thanks for that breakdown, Yoni. That was fire.
Yeah, I think you kind of like phrased it perfectly, Johnny. You really have to do your own research because AI, especially AI tokens on meme coins or AI meme coins, is a very difficult sector to invest in, right? You can trade in and out if you're good at it and you track it. But if you tell any normie, hey, buy this coin, it's very difficult because, as you mentioned, there's always new projects and agents coming up. And so which ones are going to do well long term and which ones are not, you have to be on top of the, pretty much on top of their Twitter accounts and their websites so that you can kind of like keep track. It's actually a pretty difficult kind of like sector and niche to invest in. Whereas if you buy, let's say, like a Pepe or like a Whiff, you can buy and hope that, it will do much better. There's nothing really you need to track. But with AI tokens and agents, you really need to make sure that one is not getting obsolete or something is going on with the team. Like,
I think a lot of it's more vibe based too, of like what, for me, the way I view this and why I love Zero Bros so much. Alchemist a little bit different because they're actually building like developer tools and stuff like that. And like, but like when it's meme coins in general, like the name of the game is creating hype and partnerships and like stuff that gets people to buy and speculate on. And when it like Zero, bro, they're shipping so much stuff. Like I think again, if just coming out with the cool stuff, if you see what I was gonna say, sorry, is a lot of it for me, what I base around is what do I think other like normies and stuff are gonna really, really gonna go viral, and it's kind of funny to everybody. That's really like Zero Bro's tweets. I think I don't know, it's kind of like objectively funny. A lot of the stuff it says, as well as like the music and all that. I think that one has the best chance of going viral and stuff like that. So I do think Alchemist kind of has its like kind of appeals more to developers and stuff like that, and kind of a reason why it's kind of on its own thing.
I think each AI now they're getting broken up into different sectors. There's stuff that like actually is helping the utility of stuff. There are launch pads that are being created. Like the part of it that I like is it's kind of hard to have conviction in a new meme coin that is just launched and you're just kind of following KOLs. Like how much research could you really do to get on a brand new launch of something that comes out, that's just a cartoon or it's just a static meme? Like on the cult memes, you have data. On these AI stuff, it almost feels like investing again. And that's why, like you said, it's not for everyone. I think everything is going to go up. I still love the static memes. I'm still like, my portfolio is essentially like 50-50 right now into like the bigger cults that I actually believe in, like the ticker Bitcoins, the SPX, Brett, I'm still in, Mog, I'm in, Giga, I'm in. But I got to be honest, for me personally, like a lot of these AI utility stuff, it's made it a lot easier for me to have conviction and be in a drawback because I'm studying tech again. I'm studying like developers. I'm having to like stay on. It's not just about community, right? And then when the community is built around it, it's like, okay, there's something special here. Because I think ultimately it's like what you said, right? It's people's belief that price is going to go up. And I think that cartoons essentially and characters and cults and communities have served a big purpose into that. But everyone is really investing because that price is going to go up and they believe that. I think a utility within AI that's being emphasized and highlighted by the president, like you literally just saw him mention cryptocurrency is going to be huge and AI. We need to be the biggest. Like you talk about both of them combined. I think what that does to holders is make you super cultish, because even if the coin doesn't do everything and beyond, the fact that they believe this actually has a purpose in the world that's not just a cartoon character, like it can actually serve a purpose. It could serve a utility. It could potentially service companies. It can make money. I think these things will cause holders to feel like they're holding on to something great and be willing to hold on for longer and think that the market cap is capable of going much higher.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think what it serves to is it like there's going to be crossover between both of those, but you made it to a great point. Like a lot of people who wouldn't invest in these static memes or whatever, because again, they're just not on Twitter. It's just not their vibe. There might be a 40-year-old dude. They don't give a shit about your Bitcoin. It's just like a different crowd. Like a lot of those more intellectual types are going to invest in this type of stuff. So there's going to be crossover for sure. But I think you just, you said on a great point that there's going to be a whole other crowd that's more invested in, like, likes to look at tech and like likes to study more of the developers and have like a non-anonymous developer and stuff they can actually track.
And it might be easier lists. Like I haven't seen a bunch of them list from new launches just yet. And you guys would know more about that than me. But I think I would assume that they'd be easier listings, right? Like it's not easy for Coinbase or Binance or whatever to list a new meme unless the volume is absolutely fucking insane and it's the most viral.
I will say, I think a lot of these are kind of the reason they haven't listed them yet is because they've only been around for a few months. And,
right. But I'm saying even a tech token that's been around for a few months, I would assume that's much with a team that makes sense in utility is much more investable or a safer bet to list rather than a potential meme coin that's super
still a meme coin. We got to remember, like, it's still a meme coin in the way that it's not like a lot of like they're made on pump fun, all this different stuff. So I do think, again, time in the game is huge for a lot of stuff. Why Coinbase hasn't listed GOAT, even though it's backed by whatever A16Z or whatever. I
guess my question and thesis is like, I guess I'm starting to develop a thesis now, and now I'll stop talking. Is like, I believe that maybe what we called meme tokens was just kind of like the intro gateway drug to get people into fair launches via pump fund. And I think and I hope that the future that meme coins will have created is just a new approach at launching tokens the way companies launch their stock, and it's just tokenized rather than waiting to go public,
Yeah.
and now companies are just getting fair launches, and the public are getting a fair chance to invest, and over time that just becomes more the norm.
That's a great point, Johnny. I think the fair launches is something that it's really gonna take off, especially with the new administration. Because if you think about it, like I think you can separate AI in two categories, right? You can categorize AI as BC tokens, right? You can think about like the Destras or the renders, the whatever those, right? The Akash. You can think of that sector of AI, which it can be DeepN or whatever, but it's those tokens that were launched by and they were launched by VCs or they were actually launched in different rounds. And then you have the AI agents or the new era of AI, which is the one that was launched on Pump the Fund, right? So
Right.
you have two categories. I think both of them are very interesting and both will do very well. But I agree with you, Johnny. I think we're gonna see more interest in more and more projects coming through the fair launch approach versus the BC rounds because the liquidity is there in a bull market. You don't really need to kind of like gate your investment in multiple rounds, and that actually doesn't lead to the community being built over time, and
they can still
therefore
lock,
people
and they can still lock a certain amount of supply depending on how big the company is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of lockups in these the AI
but
coins
Bren,
too.
But Bren, could you see a world where like companies could start doing fair launches, but still with like a decent
If
size
they're getting
lockup?
VC investment, there's always going to be unlocks. There's no way that they're going to what happened
with lockups, but where both are kind of like, but still a much better system than what exists.
I think when companies are going to go, they're not going to do it through a pump fund coin ever. It's going to be in the same traditional way where they get a lot of investments from VCs and stuff, and then they're going to do it in a way where it comes out in a high valuation. I don't know how you get around that. If you're getting early investment, people are going to have to get early tokens. A lot of times they're going to be locked up. So when you're talking about actual companies coming in, I think they're going to be tokenized versions of the same thing. There's still going to be VC things. I don't know how you can go around that. We could have a whole separate conversation around that. But what I kind of do think these, AI memes, it's like you brought up for Loco, it's like kind of like a middle ground, like these AI tech coins, the TAOs, like all that, like the VCs that are playing with other people's money. I think they're going to go into that stuff. And then there's kind of like a middle ground where it's like people who wouldn't invest in like ticker Bitcoin, like it's just not their thing, whatever, but they're more of an intellectual type, more of a retail investor still. Maybe they're not playing with other people's money, but they still have a lot of money. Those kind of people, again, are going to be brought in and be very interested with the AI or AI meme coin stuff or whatever you want to call it. And which is great because I think a lot of those people wouldn't be investing in ticker Bitcoin and all that other stuff right now.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And remember, guys, equity and tokens are not the same, right? So some VC investors will probably want to have some, downside protections and warranties for.
With that being said, though, I think what's the whole thing, and Yoni's kind of saying too, is that there's going to be like tokenization is going to be like these companies are going to turn into tokens instead of necessarily like whatever launches. But I think it's going to be a hybrid thing where there's still going to be unlocks and all that. I don't know how they're going to get around that. If there's some kind of
that's what I think too. It could be a hybrid thing, but it could be also a new way for companies that don't want to raise so much VC money and maybe just did like an initial like small friends and family round or whatever to just kind of get their idea and get their launch off, and then they use the launch as a form of kickstarting where they would sell like minor parts of their supply like these companies usually do once it launches, and then they're capable of funding their own companies that way. Like that's how we've seen a lot of these people. Like I'm not sure Zero Bros story from the beginning, but
it's completely fair launch. I don't think they got any like VC.
Yeah, and they sold part of the supply, and then little by little they boosted it. And look at that, it's like its own Kickstarter, and it's your biggest conviction in AI.
Cutting out
the
middle
companies though. When we're talking about the companies, I still think. Sorry for Loco to interrupt you. I still think I still think it's going to be like the hybrid type model, but like there's going to be a lot of these AI agents that.
Well, I guess we're saying that companies will be launched. It's like maybe they wouldn't be companies before, but it's almost like this is going to launch.
Like Zero Bro is going to be like a future kind of tech AI company, like
right? Like I think this might like fair launches might launch a lot more companies, even than big VC rounds. It's like they might create a shitload more big companies than we think.
That's a great point, bro. Honestly, it is 11:05 right now. I do want to move on from memes in just a second. We'll go another like 5-ish minutes. I want to look at the chat real quick. I think we actually naturally answered naturally a lot of them. Like Alk, we'll go over C Pool, anime. Yeah, somebody said, did someone say anime? Yeah, we're talking about the what's it called? Azuki probably token coming up. People are asking about Rizzo and Fred. Fred definitely still getting a lot of requests in the channel and stuff about that. I do think Peanut and Fred guys are very likely bottoming out here due to this 2 weeks of consolidation. Peanut's even stronger. I do think, who knows? We get any Binance listings? I don't even know necessarily that's gonna, make a difference. But this consolidation of, again, 2 weeks here, very, very likely that Peanut and Fred have bottomed out here, especially with all the strength we're seeing from everything else. I would say Peanut's the same setup. Peanut's probably a safer bet, right? It's obviously a higher market cap already as well. But yeah, consolidation on Peanut of almost 2 weeks. Very likely bottomed out here. I think we're going to get a big shift up here shortly. So I definitely would not be selling your Peanut or Fred. This is another one where, again, guys, hype's really strong. Everybody's like, oh, I want to have a position in Peanut. It comes down for 2 weeks. You hear almost nothing. This is the time. Again, if you believe in Peanut, you had that thesis while it was going up. This is the time where you want to, have a conviction and buy some if, again, you believe in the thesis. What's up?
Can you pull up the Mudeng chart as well? Because we got some requests about it. And
Yes.
yeah.
For Loco, didn't you get it just size into Mudang?
I did. Well, I sized up on the dip. I think it was sub 0.45. That's what it was. Yeah. And then I've been sizing up just because I'm hoping Binance lists this thing, and I think this is a worldwide kind of like move versus the US only move. That is Peanut. Even though I think Peanut obviously would do fantastic, I just think that as you mentioned, like if you have to size up in something, you have to kind of like place your bets accordingly. And so I just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on this chart, how it looks like from your perspective, Bren and team.
Yeah, so it moved up heavy off of, what was it? There was a Binance listing? Coinbase list. Oh, duh, Coinbase. Yeah. God, so much crazy shit's been going on. So yeah, big move up off the Coinbase listing, coiling up nicely here. I think it just started trading on Coinbase. To me, Mudang, it didn't give as much volume as Mog did, which is, I think, very telling. But I do think Mudang, because it's on Coinbase, we're going into a meme coin super cycle. A lot of normies know Mudang, very familiar with it. For that reason, price, as well as this corrective chart pattern, I do think if it hasn't bottomed out here, it will soon. To me, I view this as just coiling up for the next move up. And I think we're going to see Mudang in the billions next year.
Good. Any other thoughts, guys? Or any other meme coins you want to go through?
Yeah,
I know the other one was Chill Guy. Chill Guy was the other request.
Yeah. Chill Guy. Yeah. Let's go over all the obvious ones that we're missing. Let's see. Yeah, Chill Guy, same kind of thing. I think it is coiling up as well. It's crazy. It came out here and it's coming back. I think this is probably a separate mini little correction it's having. I do think there is a real community that's been built around Chill Guy on both crypto Twitter, as well as just I still see like a bunch of random old people that I know like in real life posting like Chill Guy memes. Like I'm talking like some like 50-year-old lady I saw the other day that I like, family friend, that's like, oh, I'm a chill girl or some shit. Like people literally like still to this day, after like a week, it's telling me there's some, like staying power in this meme in general. And then you obviously have the TikTok people, and then you have big people actually on crypto Twitter like Wizard of Soho and Farouk and other people kind of backing it as well. So I think it kind of checks all the boxes on there. I don't have any Chill Guy. I might buy some here actually. Pretty obvious, but
it's looks like a good entry. But I guess one of the concern was about the IP and everything, and I wonder if that's why major exchanges are waiting for, or maybe something else, because they did list like Mudeng after 2 months. So why wouldn't they list this thing? Is it because of the IP rights, or perhaps some people are speculating about it? But everyone is talking about it outside of crypto.
They listed Pepe, which there has been controversy around that over time. So I don't know. Maybe they let it cool down a little bit. I don't know, if that guy even really sent out anything, or I don't know, like who knows. I do think eventually, with or without Coinbase, I think there's enough thing on crypto Twitter, on TikTok, and then just a lot of mind share on the meme in general that it's probably going to go up. If it did get a Coinbase or a Binance listing, obviously that would not hurt, right?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. The other chart I wanted to pull up is more of a, an older coin, but it's Dog with hat, WIF. And I think the chart looks very good for a setup.
Looks strong.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I've just been also following some traders I really kind of like track and trust, and a lot of people really getting on this kind of like level. And so I just wonder, what do you guys think about this?
Yeah, very bullish price action. 5 or 10 bills.
I think 5 long short term. I think it definitely can hit 10. I don't know when, but it's just going up to for the next move for sure.
What's it at right now? Like 3.5?
Yeah,
Is that
3.5, 3.4, 3.5.
okay? Right on. Yeah. So it came out beautifully out of the corrective channel in September. I haven't looked at WIF in a little bit. Very nice, healthy corrective chart behavior, and the fact that it's coming out, making strong moves, but every few weeks, kind of seeing a nice little correction. It allows like leverage and just the coin to cool off in general before moving up. See another strong move up, nice correction in between. I do think this is going to continue higher. I do agree with your sentiment for Loco that with obviously here to stay will continue higher. But I do think again a lot of these cult type meme coins that have a bigger like movement behind it, like a thing that will catch on more than just like a cute picture, are going to start getting, going to start to catch up to WIF. But with that being said, I do agree with your sentiment that it probably does go to like 10 billion plus next year.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know if you guys have done the same, but in the last few weeks I've been accumulating like kind of like I was above 500 million kind of like tokens because I do think that there's opportunities always in the trenches, but there's I think with the current market conditions and Bitcoin just reaching over 100,000, you're gonna do also very well with less risk on bigger tokens than having to trend every other day, right? So I've definitely been kind of like shifting my attention from from like just being on pumped up fun or on BullX, whatever on that, and just kind of like really positioning myself for the next 3 months on larger market caps that I think are going to perform very well. And any of these coins can do 5 to 10x's, I think easily. So why not?
It's the only way I've
Take
been,
less
it's the
risk.
only way I've been making money. The trenches is just
Especially with size, yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry,
yeah.
you could still get X's like above 10, 20 market cap, like crazy. They're all over every day with stuff that's super reliable. Well, not super reliable. That's a strong statement, but stuff that's more reliable than the trenches.
That is not gonna go to zero, right? Like this ones that we see every other day.
At least there's other people's money in it that different big wallets of Abe. Like you can have a little bit more conviction in the buy, whereas you're just like you could wake up, it's literally gone, dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Did we miss anything in the chat? I do want to move on to the NFT section. Rotes, you still with us, bro?
We have Beep. I don't know what token is that.
I'm just
I don't know
making
if you
sure.
Yeah.
NFT expert here didn't fall asleep because we've been talking about memes the whole time. But no, I'm just playing. I'm just fucking with you. All right. Mike says alt season def confirmed. Let's go. He said that an hour ago. My bad, Mike. Let me see. Let's look in the chat. Let's see. A lot of people are saying beep. Let's do more
Beep NFTs.
Yeah, let's do Beep Janon and we'll go to NFTs. I want to make sure somebody asked about. Oh yeah, let's see. Okay, Beep. So I don't know anything else. I don't know really anything about this. You guys know anything about this?
I'm gonna hop off before NFT, boys, just because I have to get out of here. I wanted to make sure to hop on though.
All right, no worries, brother.
I mean, anything in this market cap range to me, it's very difficult to really kind of like analyze because I have no idea what it is, but it's also very, very small market cap. It's a micro cap. So really, I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. Chart wise, looks pretty corrective after this bounce. But again, I don't know anything else about this. Kind of everything else, like whether it's still an active community, whether it's bundled or not, all this other different stuff is kind of determined probably whether it keeps going up. So if you have conviction in all those other things, it does look pretty corrective. I'd like to see a little bit of consolidation, but I do hope this goes higher. I don't have a super strong opinion because this correction, I guess it's been correcting for a week. Still decent volume too. I would say there's a good chance this runs it back again. But again, I don't know those other details. And then really quickly, let's go to Janon.
It's 2 ends. There we go.
Damn, that was quick, dude. You're on it. But Yoni, when you say you have to dip?
I'm going to dip in just a few minutes, honestly.
All right, brother. Hop off whenever, but like always, we really appreciate it. Dude, you brought up some great
you guys. I love these. I'm going to hop on more often.
Of course, brother. I love you too.
Love, Yoni.
Janon, beautiful corrective behavior actually into this low. I mean, I don't know too much about what's going on with like community or how active the devs are or anything. Crazy consolidation since August on this, but just off of the strength of the market alone, I think it will run it back. Does it go back to all-time highs? I hope so for a lot of people who are holding. But yeah, I do think this is very corrective into this low. As long as it doesn't just nuke through this low for whatever reason, I think it's probably going to make another move up. And if it can't clear 6.5 or whatever this is, at that point, I do think it's going to continue higher. So yeah, I wouldn't sell here. And I think you will get a shift up here soon. So with that, I hope we answered you guys' meme coin stuff. We do want to move up to NFTs.
Last one.
What's up?
Doge.
Oh.
The meme coin
Gotcha.
of all meme coins.
The the big Doge.
Big Doge. Yeah.
I thought for some reason when you said meme, you meant the meme.
But Doge is a meme coin.
No, I know. That's how. I know. You're right. Let's see. Where the fuck is Doge on my thing? Did I exit it out on accident? Damn. So yeah, Doge looks very similar to Bitcoin right now, except just like on the higher time frames. Different time frame. I do think Doge is just probably gonna freaking send above this high here soon. Just a corrective
We were saying
consolidation.
before this, January is probably when it's gonna run.
Yeah, could run it at any time, but I do agree. I think January probably is when it could like really, start.
When Trump gets inaugurated.
Yeah.
Elon's gonna be there.
And obviously the Doge agency, they like met yesterday. Like I'm sure we're gonna hear more and more with more stuff from that. But with that being said, Doge thinks it's gonna move. Definitely think it'll move higher. But I do want to move on to NFTs. Very relevant, huge week with that. So Rhodes, are you able to share your screen, brother?
Oh, he's good.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a run for NFTs. Something that we haven't seen since. I mean, we did see it for a period of time last year, as I've mentioned, but really the momentum and positive energy towards NFTs is not something we've seen since 2022, and it's really excellent to see. Volumes look really strong and healthy. Kind of the most positive indicator besides floor price for NFTs at the moment is that we're seeing such strong volumes and heavy trading across collections, which is great to see. NFTs are not a liquid good, and to see this kind of volume provides opportunity to get into positions that you want or sell out of positions that you no longer want to be in. So overall, excellent there. Buyer seller ratio remains negative. Will probably continue to be negative until we get like really some kind of craze activity for NFTs. I mean, if it's starting to feel like that's the case. NFTs are moving in the face of Ethereum pumping. NFTs are kind of just trading irrelevant of anything else that's going on in terms of crypto and meme coins. So overall, they're strong against other factors, which through the slowness of the last couple of years, they were very reactive to other activity that's going on in the market. So I think it's a really positive sign and indicating that we're getting closer to kind of lift off for NFT collections. We're really not seeing much for new collections and the crazy mint activity. We did have one yesterday. The name slips me, but 80,000 NFTs sold at a 0.1, I think, sold, and with that a $3 million raise. Kind of I mean, not the type of activity we've seen in the past, and new projects will be really interesting to see how they find their meta and launching. Is it projects with meme coins or projects from meme coins? That's where I think the general energy will exist for NFTs, for new NFTs. Otherwise, it's a flight to quality, and that's what we've really seen over the last little while. Looking at some of the general sellers, buyers, sellers, and volume, kind of interesting here. So we had this period of like this spike, but we're returning back to the same kind of daily trader volume that we had in the past, this kind of 5,000, 6,000 range of unique buyers, sellers, etc. And, kind of highlighting that's generally speaking, the same kind of collective group and maybe not so much returnees. It's hard to tell from just pure daily trader activity because someone can not have traded for a while, make a trade, and then they'll show up in that day. But then other people that have been trading for the last little while may not trade. So it's not indicative of exactly the whole collective of who's active in the space, but it's not necessarily growing along with volume, and that I think is interesting to tell. Maybe, like I said, I last while as we've been kind of running on NFTs, and I guess maybe it's bear market PTSD, but I've been saying that expect a retracement on prices to get your entries. Prices haven't really retraced. They've rallied and continue to rally, and there's a new narrative and something else to kind of run NFTs. And as each kind of like headline comes out, etc., NFTs move again. So, and you can really see it over the last couple weeks here. Well, actually, yeah, a couple of weeks. It's just been a straight up rally in terms of the blue chip index, to the extent that we're up 42% USD to where we were 6 months ago, which is obviously more than that compared to where we were in the base of the bear market through August and even earlier in November. So just this really strong rally across blue chips. You can see here over the last 7 days, basically all major collections are up. The only one that's down is Clone X. Clone X, of course, is kind of been sunsetted. The NFTs will still be interesting. The NFTs will still find their place, but they just won't ever be to where they were. But they still offer, identity and the community can form around it. So I wouldn't call Clone X dead. And actually they're one of the winners in the 24-hour range. And on the 30 days, almost all major blue chip NFTs that I track are up. And like I said, I intend to adjust this kind of list just to make sure that it's more relevant to where we're at. But a lot of strength here on the upper end here. Penguins up 2x, Little Pudge is up over 1.5x, and just like all the way across, just really good strength there. We'll take a look at Magic Eden here.
Hey,
Pudgy
Rose,
Penguins.
are you surprised that they chose Solana for the Penguin token, or was
Yeah,
it
I forgot to
expected?
bring that up. Yeah.
It's interesting, right? I mean, there's strong memes on ETH, so I find it surprising in that respect. But I think for Penguins, it's all about accessibility. It's all about onboarding and making it accessible to more and more people. So Solana is a lot easier to trade on, less costly, etc. So I can see the benefits to them releasing a Solana token. I don't think it matters, to be honest, whether it's Solana or ETH. It's just it's their token, right? And right now Solana offers the best experience, the best trading overall for it. Now, if you're saying what's better for their price of the token, probably ETH, right? And we've talked about this in the past, that the friction on ETH, I think, results in the meme coin itself performing better, less volatility, and longer term tends to drive prices up. But I don't think that's really what the interest ultimately is, right?
I think it's accessibility, like you said, exactly.
Mhm.
And I'm surprised. I thought maybe they do it on an ETH L2. Maybe a lot of them, aren't ready necessarily as much. But I think that's going to be a trend. Is a lot of these ETH NFTs projects will probably release them on Base or something like that. That'd be my guess.
Base would have been an excellent alternative, right, to ETH, and to offer some of the similar benefits to what goes on with Solana. But either way,
they were launching an L2, right? That's what the part I was like. Maybe they're trying to create and kind of like produce on that L2, or ship more products on the L2. But I guess what you mentioned makes sense, right? If the volume and the most of the retail are in Solana, why wouldn't you want to be there, right? So I guess it's a safe bet.
I think they're just trying to be on as many like chains as possible or whatever, which is probably smart. But yeah, Pudgies. What else?
Did they get an airdrop from another Pengu coin or Pengu?
They've received several airdrops a lot, and they've received some Solana airdrops as well. They have been very Solana friendly in general, Luca, towards the communities, etc. So there are aspects to it that have been favorable, and kind of identifies why they have a bit of a relationship over in Solana as well.
Yeah.
There's a couple interesting parts here with this token in general. 25% will go to roughly 25 to the community, which is going to be a fairly large airdrop and will continue to drive floor prices on the Pudgy ecosystem. But then also they're going to do 25% to other communities. And so that's where you see something like Sappy Seals also getting a bit of a run here, and I think probably could get more of a run just because they look to get that airdrop, and then they're also very Pudgy adjacent, and also a community that a meme token wouldn't be too wild to expect. So I think there's a lot that plays there, but there's a lot of communities that list it. Whale.mocha on X kind of highlights or speculates a lot of interesting ones there. I won't go through them all, but Pudgies will help continue to drive this NFT kind of resurgence. And because they're pushing up along Bored Ape, I think there's this competitive nature between the two that will also continue to push Apes up. And then, of course, Ape's success drives the success of all NFT collections. So overall, there's just a lot of health within the NFT ecosystems. Again, I'm looking for quality projects. I'm looking for the strong ones of the past still as being the early winners. But you'll start to see some of these other collections that are still active and involved, where they've kind of lagged behind, get a bit of a pump. Now, Uzuki, of course, they're in the former group that I've just mentioned, but they're getting this kind of pull right now where they have been lagged behind. They may get some Pengu allocation. And then, of course, if Pengu's coming, well, then Uzuki's token's coming inevitably or expected. And then that will also kind of promote growth there. So lots of positivity there. I'm going to pause here for a second. Any thoughts, comments?
No, that was great. I love that breakdown. Also, let's stay. I'm gonna stay. I don't know if you guys have to go, but I think we should stay on for a little bit longer. I do have some NFT questions, and I think a lot of people are thinking about CloneX. We didn't talk about that so much that's going on this week, but for me, I kind of, a lot of people were speculating in the, even a while back that Nike was going to buy Artifact and glean what they can from it with the technology, the NFT, NPC or whatever technology in the shoes, and that maybe not necessarily shut down Artifact, but at least take what they can from that and then use it for their own endeavor. And obviously, you saw Dot Swoosh dropped a few years back. They were really heavy on the digital asset and NFT side. Obviously, Drew kind of changed the marketing on that over the last few years. They're kind of, if you look at their page on Dot Swoosh, it's like all about gaming, which I mean is huge actually, because we're about to go into crypto gaming. I still think that they have the digital asset NFT thing and still there, but they kind of changed the marketing due to where the views and sentiment around NFTs are. Anyways, I do think Artifact, Nike, they kind of shut it down because they're going to take all the stuff that they got with that technology with the shoes and all that and do it on their own with the Dot Swoosh thing. I saw an interview on this sneaker podcast that I used to watch with Jeff Staple, this guy huge in the sneaker industry, the legend. He's working with Nike on Dot Swoosh, and he said that, like, guys, this is like where a huge part of Nike's future in general, where they're putting their vision on, because again, that's where everything's headed with Web3, but it's also everything's going digital. Saw that. So yeah, my whole rant, my conclusion, I do think they shut down CloneX so that they can take everything on there and go all out with it, the Dot Swoosh thing. What are your guys' thoughts on the whole thing? Rhodes.
I mean, it's big business. They make decisions that don't always favor the community, and I think it makes a lot of sense for their focus and what they're trying to build. But shutting down CloneX, to me, I think is a miss for them.
For sure.
Yeah, I do think that to be honest, I guess two different things, right? Like, it's unfortunate, right? Because a lot of community members were. I know there's a lot of people in our community that have been part of the CloneX and RTFTK community for a long time. The issue is, when they got bought out by Nike, I think the founders kind of like lost a little bit of the, their startup kind of like mindset and hunger, right? And so they all got like 9-figure payouts, and after that, what was there to do, right? So I just feel like they let it die slowly in a in it wasn't the better way, probably not, but I just feel like like a sour taste in your mouth, right? Because the project has so much potential, right? And the technology behind it, whether it's Nike or someone else, it was something that definitely was worth following. I do feel bad. I don't hold any Clonex. I used to hold a few of them, but I overall think that I don't think Nike really care about this project. They just care about the kind of like the patents that came with it for their shoes and the technology coming behind the shoes, etc. So
Because Nike's also suing StockX right now too, which is I'm sure you guys know what that is, sneaker marketplace. A lot for because StockX put NFTs or whatever in their marketplace back in like 2022, whatever that was. I think that they're just suing, these companies, shutting down CloneX, even though they owned it, because again, they're going to go hard with the digital asset thing with the sneakers. I think all the sneakers on the sneakers app, the new drops, are going to have a digital asset like alongside it. That's going to, and again, this could be a couple years off, but maybe sooner than we think, where they're going to have a digital asset along with your shoe, which is cool, right? You get to have the NFT of your shoe, but as well as it acts as a authentication. I think it solves sneaker, right, faking of sneakers, because I could have a Jordan 1, but look the exact same, all the same materials, but if you don't have the NFT originated from Nike on that date, like it's not real, right? I think that's going to become a huge part in authenticating luxury goods in general, and Nike's probably going to be on the forefront of it. They're already showing their cards again. If you go look at Dot Swoosh, all about digital assets and all that. So yeah, I think again they're going after StockX, shutting down CloneX. Again, I doubt that there was much overhead for this, right? Like anything crazy. Again, I think it's just so that they can go full out with what they're doing. But I still think it's sad, obviously, to this day, and especially to do it so quickly, like that. It is pretty crazy, but yeah.
Well, let's look at the pond because I've been tracking Fog the meme and I think anything under point 0.4 is good entries, at least from my personal perspective. But I want to see how the NFTs are doing.
Yeah. Rotes, I didn't look at it till this morning. I didn't even realize Rotes said it, but in one of our chats, but it didn't really register to me that one of them went for 100. And that's a really nice one too. I like that one. It's clean. To me, I don't know about you guys.
Start putting in bids now.
I think I've seen that guy on Twitter. I remember. So he sold it for 100. So interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's a cool one. I like it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't see that beard one. The wizard one's up for 150. What?
Wait, that one was recently.
That one's
auctioned, right?
Yeah, that's one of the best in the collection, I think.
That's the Gandalf, the Gandalf, whatever, Gunfolk.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I put a 150 bid on that other one. What's it called? The bulletproof vest one a few weeks ago, and I don't know. I like that almost as much as the bulletproof vest one. The guy on the far right, but interesting. I didn't see that, but yeah. What a pond in general, definitely. I think Fwog very close to, if not, has already bottomed out here. Rotes, where do you see? Let's say Fwog just rips from here. If you had to guess, do you think the pond NFT like comes down a little bit more, or do you think it's like bottomed out here, probably pretty closely, and rips up with the coin itself?
Yeah, I think it's down to timing of the Fwog coin in general. Yeah. I think 500 mil, half a bill is kind of the marker that I've been tagging as where the NFTs kind of gain traction again. Okay. Such a low supply, excellent art. I think a couple more sales here, and we're right back up to 200 on them. And the Riz needs to move off the floor, and the other ones that are all kind of near the floor are all very, very good. We could see some traction sales wise. Volume's still kind of trickling in. A couple sales here over the last couple of days at this 100, showing some decent appetite at 100. If the Wizard was down, another 25 sold or whatever, I think it snapped up pretty quick. So price wise, I think 100's kind of settling in as the floor range for these. And I was saying before, when things were looking maybe more positive, 150 to 175 are kind of your target range. But if we get to 100, then there's a good opportunity that we get back to 200 with sales and activity, especially if FWOG can push above 500 mils. So all of these are quite interesting. FWOG in general, like I said, a little more quiet from where we've been at with this kind of like AI flush that we've been going through, but I think all in general is one of the more interesting ones out there.
So say real quick for look, I know you probably have something to add too. Let's say FWOG rips to 5 billion over the next 6 months. You see one of these again, and the FWOG community is built. Let's say they come out with a PFP 10K project, maybe whatever. Could you see one of these going for like multiple six figures, like 200,000, 250,000, something like next year?
You said 5 bill for FWOG?
Yeah, let's just say that goes between 2 and 5 bill. I'll just say 5 bill.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's any doubt. This would be the lead collection. You'd have your side 10K, and you'd create yourself a little FWOG army out there. I think there's a lot of opportunity for that to occur. Do I think it's likely? No, I'd hedge against that. But 500 mil to a bill, I think is all quite reasonable for it, and we'll look for that.
How big is this collection going to get? Do we know that? Is it going to be issuing NFT after NFT every other week, or no?
It's 100.
100 right? It's 100. Yeah. So I think we're done with the auctions. Raffles, this is capped at 100. There's no more raffles, I don't think, on the homepage. I think we've finished. I think there's what was Golden was the last one there.
Then definitely this thing can get over 500 sold easily in like a Bull Mania for sure. Yeah. With 100 only, yeah. But I wanted to make some speculation. So if we think that Bren, you're saying maybe 5 billion for the token, when the Pengu kind of like token launches, how high do you think that thing goes? To 20 billion, 30 billion? Because I mean, it's a massive.
I don't know. It's like any of these coins that get any of these type of airdrops, man. You're just like maybe not right away. And I get a lot of these Pengu holders, man, are like diamond-handed people, and they have cult-like dynamics. And that's one of the reasons why I think penguins are here to stay, besides what they're doing in the real world, is like just super cult-like, right? These people are, held a bunch of their penguins over, but when they went back down low. So to answer your question, I airdrops, whenever they come out, almost always they create these big washouts at some point. So right after Pengu comes out, I don't know, but maybe after a bit of a washout, I could see it in the multiple billions because of the mind share on penguins in general. Right. So it's tough to say, but I could see it in the multiple billions up to like even 10 billion in an all out like meme coin super cycle. Because again, I think they're so symbiotic with the, NFTs will have coins, and then, the coins will have meme NFTs. I think the main NFTs coins will be up there, and then the main meme coin NFTs will be up there as well in the floor prices.
Yeah. And will be interesting to see what communities get the airdrop, because I know like 23% of the tokenomics are going to partner communities. So
that's awesome. Wait, so 30 to penguins and then 23 to other communities?
No, 25 to penguins, 23 to other communities, I believe. And then there's a bunch of other,
That's smart. I think that's great. That's really cool.
Yeah. Overall, and like, I mean, for Pengu as well, like I know not every they remind us all the time, but like when it comes to them on Giphy, like they're one of the top memes that are out there. The memes that they create and the views that they get is extremely high. They've kind of proliferated, general culture. When I go back to the celebrity thing as well, Luca has lots of positive connections and knows how to get things done in that respect. So there's a lot there that I think absolutely works. And even though it will be hard for them to exceed ApeCoin and things that went there, I think it's quite reasonable for them to do so. So I would be very optimistic on what Pengu can do as a token and what that'll mean for Pudgies in the community and confirmed communities that are getting that drop as well.
Very interesting.
Most definitely.
What other projects? So for me, while he's looking at here, for me, I haven't made any really big NFT buys this week besides a few more Apus. I think a lot of these, I'm fully on board. A lot of these 2021 collections are going to continue to rip. I think, we're going to come airdrops. There's going to be announcements, all the different stuff. I fully believe these projects are back. I think right now, especially if you don't have a lot of money expendable to like drop like $30,000 on like a mutant or whatever, 15,000 to drop on a mutant, whatever it is. Really, I think ROI wise and just like in general, the Apu's, the like stuff like Apu's, like these meme coin NFTs are just in insanely low levels. A lot of people are completely sleeping on. It's kind of hard to find the Apu's on the search engine sometimes.
Yeah.
But, a lot of these meme coin NFTs, not only people are like sleeping completely on the meme coin NFT narrative, but they're like fudding it still, and they whatever. I do think Apu's, if you have a little bit more money, Sprotos I think are just the most probably undervalued meme coin pound for pound, meme coin NFT or maybe NFT in general pound for pound. Bitcoin, ticker Bitcoin's about to just go on another run right here. I do believe, and I do think the Sprotos have bottomed out and are quickly going to go to like 10 ETH. But 5, 10 ETH, at least 5. But even the smaller range, you're talking about the Apu's, I think are what 0.2 ETH or 0.12 ETH. I think those are going to, if Apu goes to the multiple billions, are going to rip to 1 ETH plus, for example. Stuff like the Yakubs, YAKUB, just like these super smallish / like cult communities, the Luces, LUCESs, and then a lot of these meme coins haven't even dropped these NFTs yet. And then Zeroborn NFTs at 5 ETH right now, with Zeroborn approaching probably what's going to be $1 billion here soon. I think those might rip to 10, 15, 20. Again, these are just round numbers. I'm not very good at valuing these NFTs in general, and I think this stuff is so brand new. So I think those could even go a lot higher even. And then even stuff like, I know a lot of people, there's no attention. Gary V hasn't said anything, but like V Friends Series 2, stuff like that, where, there's just no attention on it yet. Completely speculative, but I do think those like really undervalued stuff like the secondary collections on a lot of these ones that haven't pumped yet, that one has like 55K collection, but still, I do think stuff like that, you could get really low prices, the ones under like 0.05 ETH. But the mid-range, I really like Zeroborn risk reward in general. Jeffy, Jeffy Yu, the dev's already proven he already given some utility to the NFTs. But I think they're just a bet on Zero Bro in general. And if you have 5, 10 soul to buy 1 or 2 of these, I don't think it'll be a good trade here over the next few weeks. Good hold.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what
Okay.
happens after Art Basel. Normally, there's big news. Obviously, we have the Penguin news. I'm sure other projects will release some news, and yeah, it looks like it's a little bit of a slow Friday. Probably into the weekend, probably volumes will go lower. We'll see what happens. But I think it's a good time to close it up. Any other thoughts? Do we want to do kind of like a farewell type of reset before we just cross 500 active listeners right now?
Yeah, for sure. I'll go ahead and do that. So yeah, if you guys came on in the last, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever, obviously this recording will be up, so definitely check it out. But yeah, we do this show twice a week on Tuesday at 1 PST, right? And then Fridays, which is today, at 10 a.m. PST, a little bit earlier. My name is Bren. You can go check out my Twitters, tagged in there. I spend a lot of my time running the Boss Man Calls channel with my partner Boss Man. We've been running that for about a year now when I joined up with him. 300 members, we're now at 30K. Post all my analysis, but we really, obviously cool trade ideas, people making money, but I think the biggest thing is we focus a lot on education and stuff like streams like this. So definitely go check that out. And then we got my boys for Loco, Rhodes and Danksy here. They together run a group called Bridge 3 Labs, which is like an NFT project / alpha group, multifaceted, people of all different expertise in there. Great people, great community. They also have a Telegram, so definitely check out what they're doing. Both great guys. Rhodes helps them run that as well. He's been kind of our NFT guy, but offering a lot of great insight on a bunch of different stuff. All these guys are great. I'm lucky to call them my friends. I love these guys, so definitely check everybody out on there. Follow everybody in the panel. But yeah, with that, guys, like I said, we'll definitely be back on Tuesday. I do think everything's probably going to keep ripping. There's a chance that stuff slows down near Christmas, but yeah, I think we're entering an exciting time. And if anybody doesn't have anything else, we'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Yeah, no, that was great. yeah, hopefully you guys have a good weekend, and hopefully next week we are, all our bags are pumping, and I'm sure it's gonna be very well into the end of the year. So, thanks for the time, guys.
200K Bitcoin by next week. I'm telling you.
Let's go. I love it. All right.
Would you
guys.
say 88K or 138? What was it? What was your number there? 200K. Yes. Yeah,
200?
probably.
Let's go. Let's get
I
it.
think it's very likely.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get a Russia announcement from Russia buying Bitcoin or something. Push it
Russia
straight to
is
200.
buying all the
All right, guys. All right, guys. Love you guys. I'll see you
All right.
guys.